Hey everyone, welcome to Legend Story, where today we'll explore the most fascinating stories from the world of business and finance. Today we're diving into the history of one of the world's most iconic drinks, Pepsi. You've probably tried it, or at least heard of it. But did you know that behind this famous drink lies a story of boldness, innovation, failure, and rebirth? The story of Pepsi shows us how a young pharmacist went from being a promising prodigy to facing total bankruptcy, only to have his creation re-emerge and conquer the world years later. Get ready to learn how Caleb Bradham, the man behind Pepsi, created this soft drink giant and how his vision led him to success and collapse. Stay tuned until the end because this story has golden lessons for all entrepreneurs and dreamers. Ready? Let's begin. Our journey begins in the small town of New Bern, North Carolina. The year is 1892, and a young pharmacist, just 25 years old, named Caleb Bradham, is obsessed with an idea to create a syrup that's not only delicious, but also aids digestion and soothes stomach problems. Caleb, born into a wealthy family of Scottish and Irish descent, had a privileged upbringing, but his life was about to take an unexpected turn. Despite studying medicine at the University of Maryland, the bankruptcy of his family's business forced him to drop out and return home. However, Caleb didn't let this setback stop him. Determined to find his purpose, he got a job as a teacher and later as a pharmacist, a job that would put him on the path to creating one of the world's most iconic brands. In those days, soda fountains were very popular in the United States, and the leading drink on the market was none other than Coca-Cola, which had already been a success for several years. Caleb, like other pharmacists of the time, saw this trend as a golden opportunity. If he could create a quality syrup similar to Coca-Cola's, he could capitalize on this soda boom and build a thriving business. With this idea in mind, Caleb opened his own pharmacy in 1893, which he called Bradham's Pharmacy, and dedicated himself to experimenting with different combinations of ingredients. His experience as a doctor and his knowledge of chemical compounds helped him perfect a formula that not only tasted good, but also had digestive properties. After several attempts, he managed to create a refreshing drink that he called Brad's Drink. Can you imagine tasting something that would later become Pepsi? Well, that's exactly what Caleb's friends and customers did, and they were delighted with his creation. But Caleb knew that if he wanted to compete with Coca-Cola, his drink needed a more marketable name. Inspired by the digestive enzyme pepsin, he decided to rename his invention Pepsi-Cola in 1898. Success was almost immediate. The combination of syrup and carbonated water became a local favorite, and Caleb began selling his product to other pharmacies and soda fountains in the surrounding area. By June 16, 1903, Pepsi-Cola was a registered trademark and sales were booming. In just a few years, Pepsi's sales reached impressive volumes. By 1905, Caleb had already begun bottling his product, and by 1908, Pepsi had 240 franchises in 24 states. Spectacular growth in such a short time. Pepsi's original formula, made with sugar, carbonated water, vanilla, and citrus oils, was a resounding success. But not everything was so simple. Caleb faced a constant challenge, keeping up with Coca-Cola, which remained the undisputed market leader. Although Pepsi copied some of its rivals' strategies, it also sought to differentiate itself with its flavor and marketing. Caleb was determined to make Pepsi a nationally recognized brand. Despite its initial success, difficult times were coming. During World War I, the price of sugar, a key ingredient in Pepsi's formula, skyrocketed due to rationing and inflation. Caleb made a decision that would change the fate of his company. He bought large quantities of sugar at extremely high prices, betting that costs would continue to rise. But the war ended, and with it, the price of sugar plummeted. What Caleb had bought at 28 cents a pound was now worth only 3 cents. This financial blow left Pepsi in an unsustainable position. Despite his attempts to save the company, including searching for sugar substitutes, Caleb was unable to cover the debts he had accumulated. In 1923, at the age of 56, Caleb Bradham had to declare bankruptcy for Pepsi-Cola. All of the company's assets, including the factories and the original recipe, were sold for $30,000 to a company called Craven Holding Corporation. Devastated, Caleb returned to his pharmacy and lived the rest of his days in North Carolina. He died in 1934, leaving behind a legacy that was far from over. Although Caleb was no longer at the helm, Pepsi would not disappear. In the 1930s, the brand passed into the hands of Charles Guth, president of a candy company called Loft Inc. Charles saw Pepsi as an opportunity to compete with Coca-Cola and began to reformulate the recipe to improve its taste. In 1934, Pepsi was relaunched with an innovative strategy. They sold larger bottles at the same price as Coca-Cola, appealing to value and affordability. This move helped Pepsi's sales skyrocket, reaching $2.1 million in profits just 2 years later. Over the following decades, Pepsi solidified its position as one of the leading soft drink brands in the world. In the 1960s, it launched its famous campaign aimed at young people, dubbed the Pepsi Generation, and continued to innovate in its marketing with iconic figures such as Michael Jackson in the 1980s and 1990s. Today, Pepsi is much more than just a soft drink. With the merger of Frito-Lay, the company became PepsiCo, a multinational company that encompasses snack brands, beverages, and fast food like Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, and KFC. From its humble beginnings in a North Carolina pharmacy, Pepsi has evolved into one of the most recognized and valuable brands in the world. The story of Caleb Bradham and Pepsi leaves us with several important lessons. 1. Innovation always finds a way. Although Caleb faced enormous challenges, his vision and passion for innovation laid the foundation for Pepsi's success. 2. Beware of financial risks. Impulsive decisions, like the massive purchase of sugar, can have devastating consequences. Always assess the risks before making big decisions. 3. Never underestimate a comeback. Although Caleb did not live to see it, his creation was revived thanks to new leaders with vision and strategy. Now you know the incredible story behind Pepsi, a brand that was born from the passion of a pharmacist, faced bankruptcy, and re-emerged as a global giant. What do you think of this story? Did you expect this fascinating journey of ups and downs? Leave us your opinion in the comments. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more inspiring business stories. Thanks for joining us on Legend Story. See you in the next video. Bye.